So one of the household manners that people really like to have is teaching dogs to not be underfoot when in the kitchen cooking. So we like to teach an out of the kitchen command. And the way you're going to teach this is basically you're going to associate out of the kitchen with what you want, which is the dogs being in a certain location. Now, this works best if you have different types of flooring between your kitchen and another room or another area. For the example we're going to use today, we actually just have a rug in the kitchen and then a hardwood floor. So we're going to teach the dogs to stay off the rug and stay on the hardwood floor in the kitchen. You can basically put a piece of tape down if you do not have that different type of flooring, just to give your dog some type of visual. Now, to teach this, we are going to teach it before we're actually cooking. You don't want to wait and try teaching this while cooking because you're not going to be consistent. We want to teach the dogs what we expect first and work that a little bit before we start doing it while we're cooking. If you have multiple dogs, I do recommend teaching this individually because it will help you be more consistent and a little bit clearer to the dog. The example I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to use two dogs, and you can see how that works. So when you do bring them together, how you incorporate that into the real world. We're going to start teaching it. I'm not going to be cooking. We're going to teach it without having anything on the stove that I may burn. And then once the dogs get it, I'm going to start cooking things, and I will show you that you continue the process in the teaching. Once I'm in the kitchen, the dog comes into the kitchen, I'm going to basically say, Ruby, out of the kitchen. I'm going to use my body to back her up until all 4 feet hit the hardwood floor. Once she does that, I will stop backing her up and I will walk away. Now, if they stay out of the kitchen for 3 to 5 seconds, I can then acknowledge the behavior. Good girl, Ruby. If she goes back in, out of the kitchen, use your body, and she's off the carpet. Comes back on the carpet, out of the kitchen. Notice I do not keep repeating the command. Got one little foot on there. I know that one little foot's not a whole lot, but we want to make this very clear to the dogs that we want all 4 feet on different flooring. Good girl, Ruby. Out of the kitchen. Out of the kitchen. Out of the kitchen. Good girl. Now I'm just playing around with things in the kitchen. Moses, out of the kitchen. So I already told him to get out, so I'm going to make sure he gets out before I go to Ruby. Moses is more the stubborn one. Good puppies. Good puppies. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Good. Out of the kitchen. Good. Out of the kitchen. Good boy, Moses. So Moses is more stubborn, but he's also sometimes a little bit faster of a learner. So they've been very good, good pups. And then if you don't mind them being in the kitchen, you're welcome to, as they come in the kitchen, you don't have to say anything. They'll start to figure out that it's okay to be in there unless they're directed to go somewhere else. Good pups. Good puppies. You're welcome to throw treats at this point. Don't be afraid. Out of the kitchen. Don't be afraid to tell them they're doing the right thing for fear it's going to stop the behavior. That's the only way they're going to learn. Good puppies. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Once they start to get it, I will start asking for them to move and get out of the kitchen before I move in to move them. I want them doing it on their own so that eventually all I have to do is say the verbal. Good girl. Good job, guys. Good pups. Out of the kitchen. That way we're not having to walk away from our food if we need the dog to get out of the kitchen. Good pups. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Also notice that I'm not adding anything in such as snapping fingers, pointing, or anything like that. You want to make this as simple as possible. Good puppies. So now that we've taught them without cooking, we'll start the process of actually cooking food and see how well they do. Now we are going to start cooking some food. So I'm going to get into the fridge. Get our food out. So far the dogs are being really good. And that's a good girl, Ruby. Very good girl. Okay, so now she's on the rug. So Ruby, out of the kitchen. Give about 3 seconds, and I'm going to back her up. She tries to go around me like that. I don't want you sticking legs out. I don't want you to throw a bunch of emotion in here. It just needs to be very calm and relaxed. That's why we don't keep repeating what we want the dog to do. So usually, dogs really get excited anytime that they know you're getting out items that's cookware, basically. Moses, out of the kitchen. Okay, I'm not giving him that 3 seconds because I knew he was about to lay down. If your dog lays down and you can't get them to move this way, you're welcome to get them by the side of the collar, just like here, and just move them that way. It's still a calm thing. Ruby, out of the kitchen. It's still a calm thing and you're following through. There we go. All right, good puppies. So she's got her little foot on there. I do just want to let her know that all four. Moses, out of the kitchen. Okay, so I'm going to use my body. I got to go with him first. And then Ruby, out of the kitchen. There we go, good. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Very good. Now you don't have to reward when they go out of the kitchen. You really want to try to hold that reward for 3 to 5 seconds as they are out. So good boy Moses. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Moses, out of the kitchen. So Moses is laying down again. Y'all can see him, the camera. So I'm going to just take him gently by the side of the collar. Do not keep repeating it. Only do what you have to do. This is the lazy way. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Good. Ruby, out of the kitchen. Good. Now once they start getting it, Ruby, out of the kitchen. Once they start understanding what you want, we'll then put in a consequence, which would be, if I have to back you out 3 times, you then go to your crate. So good. So now they're out. Something is getting their attention outside, which is fine. We don't care why they're out. Just the fact that they are out. Good puppies. And of course, I want to constantly reward them for the good behavior. As they get better, we do not have to acknowledge as often. But in the beginning, you want to acknowledge quite a bit. Ruby, out of the kitchen. So I gave her a few seconds to think about that because I really want it to work with just my verbal. I don't want to have to go and back them out. Good girl, Ruby. Good job. Good boy, Moses. Good job, guys. So I'm doing all regular things I would do while cooking. So you're hearing the noise because I want you to hear that I am cooking and making sure that they understand it. No matter what I am doing, I want them to stay out of the kitchen if I've asked them to do so. And they're being really good. So lots of praise there, good puppies. And at that point, I can have a little treat bag and be tossing rewards, but they're doing excellent, and I'm really proud of them. So Ruby has learned. She was over here laying down. She was being really good as I'm cooking and understanding that I don't want her on the rug. So really practice this with your dogs. It's handy to have so that they're not under your feet, which can be very, very dangerous when you're trying to cook. All right, Dog Speak Geeks, go practice. Good girl.